Hardest hit crime areas.
We'll see you at 6.
Good night.
On World News Tonight, this Wednesday, Monica Lewinsky is now prepared to contradict the president's claim about what happened between them. New arrests and a confession in the U.S. Embassy bombings, and new information pointing to the FBI's #1 suspect. And America's growing shortage of teachers. Desperate times require desperate measures. We'll take a closer look.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Sitting in tonight, Forrest Sawyer.
Good evening. It appears the crisis surrounding President Clinton is growing worse, possibly much worse. Both Monica Lewinsky and Linda Tripp are scheduled to appear again tomorrow before the grand jury, and Lewinsky's testimony is critical. Sources say she is prepared to say the president did not tell the truth either under oath or to the American people. At issue, the nature of the sexual contact between them and whether the president may have committed perjury. ABC's Sam Donaldson is at the White House. Sam.
Forrest, when Monica Lewinsky appears before the grand jury tomorrow, she is expected to repeat testimony that will directly conflict with what the president told the American people Monday night, in that it will tend to contradict his assertion that he did not commit perjury last January.
In his January deposition to Paula Jones' lawyers, when Mr. Clinton was asked whether he had had sexual relations with Lewinsky using a definition of sex approved by the court, he replied that he had not. Was that a lie that constituted perjury? On Monday night, the president said it wasn't.
While my answers were legally accurate, I did not volunteer information.
Legally correct, the president maintains, because he interpreted the definition given him as describing a one-way street. If it was Lewinsky who had touched Mr. Clinton, he could say he had not had sexual relations with her. Lewinsky's testimony is that the president also initiated contact with her to arouse and gratify her. And if Lewinsky's testimony is to be believed, the president then has lied in the deposition and in his address to the nation. Another point the grand jury may want to go over again is how gifts Mr. Clinton gave Lewinsky came into the possession of Presidential Secretary Betty Currie. ABC News has been told that when the president was asked by the prosecutors on Monday whether he in any way instructed Currie to ask Lewinsky for the gifts back, which might constitute obstruction of justice, he did not give a definitive answer. Then there's the matter of the presidential necktie. On August 6th, the day Lewinsky began her testimony, the president was in the Rose Garden at a gun control ceremony, wearing a necktie that Lewinsky says she gave him on his birthday in 1996. She is said to have told the president, "When I see you wearing this tie, I will know that I am close to your heart." Prosecutors want to know if he wore it on the day she was to testify as a signal to her, hoping she would not say anything damaging. And would that be an attempt to obstruct justice? In any case, Lewinsky didn't know he was wearing her tie until she came out of the jury room and saw him on the news. Twice before this summer, the president wore the same tie. On June 24th, as he was preparing to leave for China, and on July 9th in Atlanta. There is another issue about the tie. In January, the White House received a subpoena demanding Mr. Clinton turn over any and all gifts Lewinsky may have given him. He turned over some gifts. Why didn't he turn over the tie? On Martha's Vineyard, where he's vacationing, the president today celebrated his 52nd birthday, out of sight, and according to his spokesman, very quietly.
It's going to be kind of a quiet, relaxing time to deal with what the family's obviously dealing with at this point.
Just physical ones. Lewinsky is also dealing with her life today. According to friends, she's having an extremely difficult time in the aftermath of the president's speech Monday night, which contained no apology to her or her family. They say the president's words and deeds convinced her that there were emotional ties between them and not just physical ones. One friend told ABC News, he lied to protect her, now this. And incidentally, Forrest, it may be moot now because the president has confirmed he had sexual contact with Lewinsky, but ABC News has now confirmed that the president has given a DNA sample to the prosecutors, presumably to check that infamous dress.
All right, Sam. At the White House, Sam Donaldson. Thanks very much, Sam. Well, while public opinion polls do show the majority of Americans accepted what the president said in his address on Monday night, among some members of Mr. Clinton's own party, the reaction is not good. Here's ABC's Linda Douglas.
At times of crisis, the White House waits anxiously for the reaction of Democrat Daniel Patrick Moynihan, one of the Senate's most respected members.
We're talking to New York Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan.
Today on a call-in radio show, Moynihan ripped into the president's speech.
The speech, if you want to call 4 minutes of speech, was not adequate to its purpose. I mean, the president had put an awful lot of people through terrible times for the last 7 months. And it was a time to just stand up and say, I apologize. He didn't say that.
Right.
Privately, many Democrats have been much harsher than Moynihan was today. One Democratic House member told ABC News he was nauseated by the president's speech. Another said the president blew it. One senator said Mr. Clinton's actions reek of humiliation and decadence. Democrats face a major dilemma as they head into the fall elections. How do they separate themselves from the president's behavior without hurting their party?
I do not think that people who are in the House and Senate should be held accountable for this. This is absolutely shocking, and I'm sure every one of them feels just sickened by it.
Even the most critical Democrats say they will reserve final judgment until the independent counsel sends his report to Congress. Today, Senator Moynihan urged Kenneth Starr to hurry, saying the country cannot have a disabled president. It needs a commander-in-chief. Linda Douglas, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
In just a moment, some of the day's other news, breakthroughs in the embassy bombing case, a load of new evidence, and dueling dollars squeezing American business.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Quaker Toasted Oatmeal.
I got a letter back from Quaker. You wrote to Quaker. Told them Quaker Toasted Oatmeal ought to be called Quaker Tasty Oatmeal.
It's oatmeal, it's toasted. To me, that says tasty.
Well, then they should call it that.
Quaker Toasted Oatmeal. Crisp oatmeal flakes with honey-sweetened oat clusters.
Well, they thanked me for my interest, but said product will remain Quaker Toasted Oatmeal. What a shock.
Quaker Tasty, toasted oatmeal. Your other oatmeal.
And now, Quaker Honey Nut Toasted Oatmeal has 20% more almonds.
Ooh, yum.
Introducing a scrumptiously delicious bar, fortified with 17 vitamins and minerals. The delicious, nutritious new Boost Bar. Get your recommended daily allowance of chocolate crunch.
You can get your dentures fresh or extra fresh. Only Efferdent Plus has Listerine ingredients to get them extra fresh. Efferdent Plus. The plus is extra freshness.
It hurts so bad. That burning sensation. So I saw my doctor. He said where heartburn hurts most is where Mylanta works fast. All down through here where you want help fast. My doctor said Mylanta.
International news tonight, two major developments related to the embassy bombings in Africa. First, a new threat against Americans, and it comes from a group affiliated with Osama bin Laden. That Saudi millionaire U.S. officials believe may have ordered the bombings. The group apologizes for the loss of African lives, but says, quote, the coming days will see that America meets a black fate. And in Kenya itself today, a suspect in custody is providing crucial information about the bombing. His information led U.S. investigators to a Nairobi hotel. Here's ABC's Morton Dean.
The Hilltop Hotel was raided by a force of more than 20 U.S. and Kenyan federal agents. They were heavily armed. With what, pistols?
No,
right? Big guns.
No, yeah, big guns.
Big guns, yeah. The agents knew exactly where they wanted to go, to rooms A107 and B102. This has been dusted for fingerprints by the FBI. The agents believe that part of the bomb's detonator was made in one of the hotel rooms by 3 men who checked out the day before the bombing. Did they find anything in those 2 rooms?
No.
They were empty.
They are empty.
After they checked out, the trio fled together on a flight to Pakistan. One of them is believed to have been Mohammed Sadiq Odeh, who was arrested in Pakistan and turned over to authorities in Kenya last Friday. ABC News has learned that Odeh is providing an extraordinary amount of detailed information to U.S. and Kenyan investigators. It led investigators to the hotel and to the arrests of 2 other men, a Saudi and a Sudanese, who were trying to pass through this checkpoint from Pakistan into Afghanistan. And ABC News has also learned that Odeh has given the Americans a confession, and that his information may be good enough to produce indictments. Indictments which may contain the name of Osama bin Laden, the self-proclaimed godfather of international terrorism. Morton Dean, ABC News, Nairobi.
U.S. officials have said repeatedly they will spare no effort to track down the bombers. But if Osama bin Laden was the mastermind, arresting him requires either massive firepower or some very delicate diplomacy. Here's ABC's John McWethy.
For now, the U.S. must pin its hopes for apprehending Osama bin Laden on these people. They are the Taliban, Muslim fundamentalists who rule Afghanistan and who U.S. intelligence sources believe get millions in bribes from bin Laden himself to allow him to stay. In a statement today, the Taliban said Washington should present its evidence against bin Laden and then, quote, "We will punish him here. It is not right to give a Muslim to an infidel country." The U.S. still hopes it can offer Afghanistan something bin Laden cannot, something the Taliban say they badly want: diplomatic recognition and a seat at the United Nations, legitimacy. But even if the Taliban agreed to hand over bin Laden, intelligence sources say it is not at all clear they could do it. The U.S. would then be left with the option of going after the terrorist leader with or without the permission of the Afghan rulers. Though Pentagon sources say very preliminary planning has begun for such a mission, if it is ever actually executed, they fear American casualties could be very high. John McWethy, ABC News, the Pentagon.
When we come back closer to home, why an American city is searching for teachers half a world away. We'll take a closer look.
We're number 15 for takeoff, so just...
I should have used Preparation H.
If you had, you wouldn't be suffering now. Preparation H helps stop itch and further irritation with a soothing layer of protection.
I should have used Preparation H.
Stops itch, stops irritation.
Sun is rising. See it shine, shine. Looks like a great day. See it shine.
It's a great day for the comfort and convenience of changing tint Transitions lenses. Indoors, they lighten. Outdoors, they darken. So lightweight plastic Transitions lenses are right in any light. Make the change to Transitions lenses and see for yourself.
It's a great day.
Transitions lenses, right in any light and right for you.
From the most prescribed name in the history of pain relief comes non-prescription Motrin IB. Motrin IB, spoken here, 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 and here. Nothing speaks to pain better than the prescription-proven power of the medicine in Motrin IB. Motrin IB, spoken here.
Now with Ford Taurus, you don't have to choose between low APR financing or cash back, because now you can get both during the Ford Factory Authorized Clearance. For the first time ever, get low 0.9% APR financing and $750 cash back. It's the best deal ever on today's Taurus. Hey, it's like having your cake and eating it too. Just try not to get any icing on the nice seats. Hurry, the Ford Factory Authorized Clearance ends soon at your local Ford dealer.
Introducing Kellogg's Smart Start, designed to start your body and start your mind. Smart Start has vitamins, minerals, and complex carbohydrates in crunchy, sweetened, multi-grain cereal. Seize the day with Kellogg's Smart Start.
Tonight we're going to take a closer look at America's teacher shortage. Summer vacation's ending for many children soon, but this year, while they've been away, schools all across the country have been trying to find enough teachers to fill the classrooms when they get back. The Department of Education says 2.4 million new teachers will be needed over the next decade. That's more than 200,000 new teachers each year. School systems, particularly in cities, will do almost anything to find new teachers for the fall. And one of the most interesting recruiting efforts is by the School District of New York. Here's ABC's Michelle Norris.
In the heart of this grand European capital, an interesting experiment is taking place.
Would you describe for us why you decided to become a teacher?
It's a nice job.
It's always a challenge, always different.
It's a transcontinental job interview. The candidates are in Vienna. The prospective employers half a world away.
Know anything about Brooklyn?
I know that Brooklyn is a part of New York, but that's all I know about it.
It is one of the most ambitious attempts by any school system to find new teachers. But desperate times call for desperate measures.
Why would New York City travel so far to find qualified teachers? It's a matter of simple arithmetic. The city needs to replace 40% of its teaching force. That's 25,000 teachers over the next 5 years.
Okay, so now remember the rule with equations.
The greatest need, math and science teachers. But across America, high-paying, high-tech jobs are luring these potential teachers away. Meanwhile, in Austria, too many teachers are vying for too few jobs.
Since we have too many teachers, it's quite natural to try to go where they have no teachers.
New York's proposal allowed 30 adventurous English-speaking Austrians to teach in New York City schools for 1 year.
Here it meets our needs, and over there it removes people from the unemployment rolls.
You will know of Brooklyn and Queens.
The Austrians are better trained than many beginning American teachers. They will earn $30,000 a year, which won't go far in New York, but it's more than starting teachers earn back home.
You will find the experience teaching New York City a very, challenging experience.
Dozens are eager to trade the quaintness of Austria for the cacophony of New York. But there will undoubtedly be challenges.
How to handle New York, how to handle the diverse population, how to handle the multicultural issues that we face on a day-to-day basis. You have to be tough to live in New York and to teach in New York.
To toughen up, the Austrians will take a crash course known as New York 101. They'll learn everything from school security to coping with New York's in-your-face bravado.
So what problem?
That sometimes extends into the classroom.
The students are much more, quote-unquote, courageous. They ask questions, they challenge what the teacher is saying, and they have their own opinions, which they defend.
The biggest challenge, culture shock. Vienna is a long way from New York. The city hopes these teachers can go the distance when they arrive in classrooms this fall. Michelle Norris, ABC News, New York.
So what is behind the teacher shortage? Well, schools say a push for smaller class sizes has increased demand for them. More and more children are entering school just as many experienced teachers are retiring. Experts also say an increasing number of teachers and prospective teachers are taking jobs in higher paying professions. And that's a trend that has been accelerated by the booming economy and by the tight job market. Still ahead, why are so many Americans going shopping north of the border?
Want to color your gray beard or mustache and get a natural look? It's easy with Just for Men Gel.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men Gel. No one can tell with Just for Men Gel.
It's not regular hair coloring, it's specially made to penetrate that coarse, hard to color gray. Simply brush in and in 5 minutes, rinse. Now gray is gone, matched up to the rest of your hair.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men Gel.
Heartburn at this hour is a nightmare, but the minute I take Maalox, I know help is on the way.
1 minute Maalox. Maalox goes to work on stomach acid in 1 minute. Pepcid AC could take over 45 minutes to affect acid, so count on 1 minute Maalox.
Honey, is there any of that chicken cacciatore left?
Look in the freezer.
The amazing Hefty One-Zip food bag. It clicks closed to lock in freshness.
Ice cream.
One-Zip, the Hefty Duty food bag.
kids. Going back to school isn't that bad. I've got all new supplies for you. I wish I was going back to school. It can be fun. You get to learn about all sorts of things like history and science and geography and social studies and math. Now that's the attitude I want to hear. We love to learn.
Staples has everything your kids need to go back to school at guaranteed low prices. Staples, yeah, we've got that.
In Boston today, popular columnist Mike Barnicle has abruptly resigned from the Boston Globe. A week ago, Barnicle was suspended from the paper for apparent plagiarism in one of his columns. Questions raised today about another column prompted his resignation. Economic news: the Asian economic crisis has begun to have an impact close to home and close to U.S. pocketbooks. The problems in Asia have lowered the value of the Canadian dollar, which means a lot of Americans have been heading north looking for bargains. It also means Canadian dollars are not flowing south, and that has put a lot of American businesses in a bind. ABC's James Walker is in Ogdensburg, New York.
Ogdensburg is right on the border with Canada, and business has gone sour. A shopping mall built to attract Canadian shoppers only attracts pigeons. 2 years ago at stores here, it took $1.37 Canadian to buy $1 US worth of goods. Today it takes $1.50 Canadian to buy the same thing. At Hackett's Hardware, manager Norman Geraltz has seen his Canadian customers disappear.
Whereas we used to probably deposit somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 a week in Canadian currency, today it's virtually non-existent.
Back in '92, some 800,000 Canadian cars filled with shoppers looking for deals crossed here into the U.S. But last year, as the value of the Canadian dollar continued to drop, 300,000 fewer cars made the trip. Lou Williams, who owns the Quality Inn Motel in Ogdensburg, says he's lost about 40% of his business. The Canadians
basically are not coming across the border anymore.
This summer has been hard on states from Maine to Washington that depend on tourist dollars. Even states like Florida and California, which thrive on winter tourism from Canada, are bracing for losses. American businesses are not just being hurt because Canadians are not coming here, but because Americans are going over there.
I brought my kids over for school clothes shopping, saved a bundle this year.
A New Hampshire family bought this Canadian-built home for $4,200 less than what they would have paid in the United States. Which brings us back to Lou Williams in Ogdensburg. As worried as he is about the town's depressed economy, he too shops in Canada, where he bought these door frames and saved $1,000. Still, he feels guilty.
You're the president of the Chamber of Commerce?
Okay.
How does
Canada? Well, I tell you, I don't want to do that.
But he will, along with thousands of other bargain hunters, even though that's hurting American business. James Walker, ABC News, Ogdensburg, New York.
One other bit of economic news: Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrials dropped 21 points, closing at 86.93. On the NASDAQ index, stocks were down 12 points. When we come back, a story of terror and innocence.
Shout it out.
The all-new Mitsubishi Galant. Totally new styling, nicely equipped at $17,990.
Ready to go.
When it comes to your health, never compromise, even when choosing a laxative. You need one that's strong enough to work overnight, but also gentle. Try doctor-recommended Dulcolax. Its comfort coating even protects your stomach. Get strong, get gentle, get doctor-recommended Dulcolax.
Pain keeping you awake? Now the effervescent power of new Alka-Seltzer PM gives you complete relief. Alka-Seltzer Speed plus a gentle sleep aid. The 100% solution to nighttime pain. New Alka-Seltzer PM. Sleep well.
If you can do this, you can make wood beautiful with Minwax. And if you can do this, you can give wood lasting protection. Turning a house into a beautiful home is as easy as turning to Minwax.
Introducing Kellogg's Smart Start, designed to start your body and start your mind. Smart Start has vitamins, minerals, and complex carbohydrates in crunchy, sweetened multigrain cereal. Seize the day with Kellogg's Smart Start.
Tonight, he was a healthy young man arrested on a simple marijuana violation. So, how did he end up dead in police custody?
Goes into the law enforcement center, comes out dead.
A primetime investigation tonight.
Finally tonight, the lasting impact of terror. Many of those wounded when the bomb went off at the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi were children. The investigation into the bombings is progressing. There are already plans to rebuild the embassy. But for some of these innocent victims, life will never be the same. ABC's Clay Scott has one boy's story.
His name is Simon Kingara. He's 10 years old, and he's now able to open his eyes for the first time since the blast. I remember a big noise, he said, but I don't understand why somebody sent the bomb. Simon was a passenger on this bus that stopped for a red light right in front of the U.S. Embassy. The force of the bomb ripped the bus apart. Simon was blinded by glass that lacerated his face and eyes. People were screaming, he said. I felt the glass break and fall all over me.
The chances of regaining full vision will not be good because of the corneal scarring that he is eventually going to get in his eyes.
This week, Simon will probably be well enough to leave the hospital, but his chances for a full recovery are worse because of where he lives, Nairobi's central bus station. Simon is a street kid, one of thousands who roam the city, begging for money, eating from the garbage, huddling together for protection at night. Doctors fear if Simon returns to the street, his eyes will become infected. Simon has more immediate fears. When I was on the street, some of the bigger boys would attack me, he said. I was afraid. Simon used to live with his grandmother 10 miles outside Nairobi. He says he left because there wasn't enough food. His grandmother says she can't even afford the 80-cent bus fare to visit Simon in the hospital. I don't want to go back to the street, he says. I want to go to school. I want somebody to buy me books. Hospital administrators say if they can't find a home for Simon, he'll probably have to return to his grandmother's house. And that means he could end up back on the streets. Clay Scott, ABC News, Nairobi.
And that is our report on World News Tonight. Later on Primetime Live, the controversial claim that food supplements can relieve the pain of arthritis. And on Nightline, a look at a small town that supported the president last January and how things have changed. I'm Forrest Sawyer. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
Tomorrow, why are cities demolition crazy? Is the new way to save neighborhoods to blow them up? Watch ABC's World News Tonight. This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News, now always on.